Welcome to a quick demonstration for the new features of PRINERGY Tools 1.5. As a reminder, PRINERGY Tools is a collection of plugins that allows you to do advanced pre-press operations directly in Adobe Illustrator. They include trapping tools, barcode creation, document screening tags, PDF trim and media tools, flexo calibration, and a host of other quality control tools. New to 1.5 is compatibility with Illustrator 2021 and macOS Big Sur. There's improved auto trapping and a more streamlined interactive trapping tool, ability to set PDF trim and media boxes, object screening improvements, flexo dot calibration capabilities, and new preview and quality control tools. Auto trapping has been simplified and now has two different modes. There's an auto trap mode, which is like a safe editing mode, and an independent interactive trapping mode. The auto trap editing mode only allows you to change the trap direction of traps created by auto trapping. So it's like a safe mode. You can't get double traps by accident, or you can't get the wrong trap parameters. It's very simple to use. You'll simply use auto trapping as you normally would, based on a trap ticket. And traps are created on the PRINERGY trap layer. You can use the interactive trapping tool to change the direction of these auto traps. You select the interactive trap tool from the tools menu, and under the options menu, you have to make sure that operate auto trap is selected. Once it's selected, you just click and drag from the object into the adjacent object to change the direction of the traps. So no new traps are created, only existing trap directions are changed. And you can use Shift click drag to change multiple traps in one operation. You'll notice that there are parameters in the interactive trap dialog, but they have no effect in auto trap editing mode. All you can do is change the trap direction, so the traps are protected. The independent interactive trap mode allows you to change parameters and create totally new traps. You must make sure that the auto trap feature is deselected in the trapping tool. Use the same click and drag technique, but you'll notice that traps are created on a separate layer, on the interactive trap layer. And these are new traps. So you can change trap parameters and apply them, and they'll be instantly applied. Now it's a little bit tricky because it is possible to place multiple traps in the same location. So it may look like a single trap, but if you view the traps independently, you'll see that they are different objects. And the only way that these can be removed is to manually select them and delete them. Another technique that you can use with interactive trapping is to use an option click in an object. And this will automatically spread the foreground into the background. Or you can hold down Shift option click, and that will move the background into the selected object. It can be beneficial to set trim and media boxes for downstream workflows such as PRINERGY. Setting the trim box allows a page or artwork to be auto-assigned through a hot folder to the correct position in an in position or layout. Select the Trim and Media Box tool from the Basic Functions menu. You can set the trim based on different objects, but in this case it makes the most sense to actually base the trim box on the die line. So select the bounding box of the die line, and once all the elements are selected, you can say Fit Trim to Selection, and the trim box displays. You've got various options for setting the media box as well, but it makes most sense to set the media box as offsets to the trim box. Now once the trim box and media box are set, you must use the Output PDF function from PRINERGY Tools in order to properly embed both the trim box and the media box in the file. You cannot use the native Illustrator function to do Save as PDF. If you do this, the trim box and media box will not be properly embedded in the file. So using Output PDF, give it a name and output, and then you can confirm the results in Adobe Acrobat. You can use the PRINERGY Geometry plugin in Acrobat to display the trim box and the media box and confirm that they're correct. The PRINERGY Tools dot calibration tool can be useful for print processes that have a limited highlight resolution or maximum ink density limits, such as flexo, screen printing, and gravure. Dot calibration allows you to adjust your highlights and shadows for optimum print results. One way to calibrate for flexo is to set a minimum dot or cutoff value. This file starts out with untouched linear values, where linear means that the input values are equal to the output values. If the minimum printing dot is established to be 5%, then we want to remove all values below the minimum printing dot. So the determined minimum dot value is entered in the PRINERGY Tools dot calibration. When the value is applied and the resulting tonal values are measured, you can see that all values below the minimum dot have been removed from the file. An alternative way to handle a minimum dot is to bump all of the values in the file to be above the minimum dot. So the way this is accomplished is to go to the bump section and enter the minimum tonal value for the input value, and then enter the desired minimum dot for the output value. So we'll set the minimum value to be, in this case, 0.1%, and the output value we're going to set to 5% again. When the value is applied, the lowest tonal value has been pushed up to the minimum dot, and all the other values follow along in a linear manner. Some processes, such as flexo, screen printing, and gravure, have a maximum dot or a maximum solid ink density that can be printed. For this use case, we would set the minimum print dot for the file. We'd start with a linear file again and measure the values down from the solid 100% patch. In the dot calibration bump panel, the maximum printing value is entered as the output value for solids. Which is 80% in this case. When this output value is applied, the tones in the entire file are adjusted down from the solid or 100% in a linear manner. If you're working on the Windows platform, you can now preview the results of curve and noise effects. Just apply curves as you normally would from the Effects menu. Set your curve and check the Preview checkbox. The results of your curve will be shown in real time. In the same manner, you can preview the noise effect. Select Noise from the Effects menu. Set your noise parameters and apply Preview. PRINERGY Tools 1.5, you can now simulate the misregistration of multiple separations, which is useful to see whether your trapping is sufficient for your target print process. Just trap as you normally would with your normal specifications. Launch Preview. Hit Update to view. Then go to the Options menu in the top right-hand corner and choose Simulation. The Simulation panel appears and allows you to change the expected amount of misregistration, change opacity for viewing, turn off separations. Once you've set your specification, just hit the Simulate Again button, and you can hit this multiple times to view expected misregistration. So in this case, maybe we need to adjust our keep away trap for the sprint process. PRINERGY Tools 1.5 also adds two new elements to its graphics search capabilities. Search for text wrap objects and empty text boxes. Launch search from the PRINERGY Tools menu. Go to the Attributes tab and you'll find the new text wrap and empty text selections. Select Text Wrap, then push the Find Objects button, and you'll find the objects that have had text wrap applied. Select Empty Text to search for empty text boxes. Hit Find Objects, and the first found object is selected. Hit the forward arrow to move to the next found object, and so on. Or hit All Objects to select them all as a group. And that concludes the introduction to the new features of PRINERGY Tools 1.5.